Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I know it's been a while since I made a video, but I am going to start making more videos, really on anything. Right now it's probably going to be mainly Arc Raiders and some other newer games that I have been interested in. I've just been busy with work lately, but I'm going to start doing better at getting videos out and doing all that. Enough of that. Let's get back to what you guys are really here for, and it's the tips and tricks video. Tip number 1. Alright. It's the usage of the, what I like to say, this is my thing, the zero to hero method, but mainly it's just abusing the free loadout system. This is self-explanatory. The free loadout system is probably the best thing they have in the game right now, and as of right now, there is no limit to how many times you can use this in a session or how many matches you can use it. You can really just keep using it over and over and over again. And by using this, there's really no loss that you can have. You can just keep going in and in and in to different games and basically keep using the free loadout. And if you make it out with more than what you came in with, and there's no risk to losing anything. It's not like you're making a custom kit and going out with it, but that's my first tip. That's really, what you're going to be using the most is the free loadouts, just to kind of learn the game and kind of learn the maps so you don't have to go in and lose everything. Tip number 2 is getting familiar with the different type of events that are in the game. The 3 type of events that have increased loot in general, and really what you really want to be, running is now the newest, which is Cold Snap, Night Raid, and Electromagnetic Storm. Those are probably the 3 best events that you really need to be running constantly to get better loot. You can obviously run day raids, but I mean, in my opinion, they are the best for learning the maps, but other than that, you're not going to be getting any kind of crazy loot like you see these other people getting. Just mainly run, Cold Snap, Night Raid, and Electromagnetic Storm. There's also other events like Lush Blooms, which is good for leveling up your Scrappy, which you can get all kinds of like fruits, vegetables, everything you need for your Scrappy. There's also like Locked Gate, where, there's one exfil. I think that might be increased loot. I'm not 100% sure. You've got that, and you've got a couple others. But like I said before, the best 3 are the Cold Snap, Electromagnetic Storm, and Night Raid, because those give you increased loot, about 2 times the loot you normally would get. Tip number 3 is what kind of, goes off of what I said for tip number 2, is just prioritizing running Night Raid, Cold Snap raids. That's where you're going to find most of your loot. That's where you're going to find most of your good weapons, like Bobcats, Batinas, whatever, however you say that. You can mainly find those and volcanoes in gun crates. In night raids, there's just a better chance of finding a better weapon. Because mainly in day raids, if you're looting a gun case, you're really going to get Berlettas, Arpeggios, stuff like that, green guns. But there's a higher chance in night raids, cold snaps, all that you can get purple guns, and better loot, wolf packs. You can get all kinds of better materials in these modes with better loot. Tip number 4 is to get used to weapons by utilizing the shooting range. The shooting range is probably one of the first things I started doing right when I got into the game, because there are a lot of guns, and a lot of them look like they might shoot one way but shoot another. Utilize the shooting range, honestly. The kettle, I learned to use the kettle from the shooting range. Did not know it was a semi-auto. I thought it was a full auto gun. But I'm glad I used that, because I got used to the weapons. I got used to some of the gadgets. Now, it's not going to have all the weapons in there. You can bring some in and kind of get used to them. But yeah, shooting range is probably the best way of learning weapons. It also shows, how much damage a weapon does to, like wasps or some of the smaller arcs. So that kind of helps to for you to learn, what weapons are best for destroying arcs. Tip number 5 is learning loot spawns and learning maps. So when I first started playing this game, what I did and what people were recommending me to do was wait for a little bit, wait into a match, probably I don't know, 5-10 minutes into a match, and then just run around the map. See what you can find, always look up what best loot spots there are, best loot runs. There are plenty of videos on that to show on each map what, the best loot run is. So eventually you're at that point to where you can go in, you know the map, you're familiar with the map, you know exactly where you need to go, you know exactly what route you need to run to get guns, ammo, materials, anything you really need. Tip number 6 is a pretty big one. Practice your playstyle, honestly. This is a very big one because it's based on how you get matchmaked with other people. So, if you want to be more peaceful, play more peaceful. Because then the game will put you in more peaceful lobbies. Now, if you're a PvPer kind of like I am, you're going to want more aggressive lobbies. That's really how I get most of my loot. But there are PvE players out there that, want to experience more of the PvE side of the game, and, they kind of get matchmaked with PvE players, and PvP players get matchmaked with PvP players. Yes, just practice your playstyle. Tip number 7 is inventory management. This is very, this comes into play very late into the game. You're always going to have, I think you're going to have at least maybe 5 or 6 storage upgrades. After that, you can't upgrade it anymore. I don't know if they're going to change that later in the game. I kind of hope they do, but I know the expedition kind of helps with that, but it's not too much. It's maybe only 12 slots, but it does help. But that being said, you need to be able to prioritize your loot. Stash management, stuff like that. I'm kind of bad about that, but what my favorite thing to do is find a gun you like. Find a gun you really like, find a gun you're really good with, and just track the components for it, and just collect those components. So you're always having enough materials to upgrade it, having enough materials to make it, while also kind of having that extra stash space for whatever you need. But, I have in my stash, I have a good bit of large weapon parts and a good bit of medium weapon parts. But you'll see is that I don't have any light weapon parts because I really never use light weapons. My favorite weapons are, the medium and heavy weapons. Tip number 8 is probably a pretty good tip too, is if you want to, increase in your trials and everything like that. I'm not too focused on the trials. I kind of do it, in matches if I'm, if I kind of want to. But the best thing I can say is just try to get your trials done in one match. Just try to, not be able to have to, go in and get this certain amount of points and then stop. Because what happens in trials is the first time that you start a trial, the first time that you start getting experience. So say one of the trials is do a certain amount of damage to fireballs, right? So your first match you go in, you can collect as many points as you need to, even enough to fully complete it in one match. But after that, say you go in, kill 2 fireballs, right? That only gives you maybe 1,000 XP, right? So then, that next match you go into, you have to collect 1,000 more XP to get to that milestone. So that means you can only collect 1,000 XP to get to that milestone, and then so on and so forth. So yes, do that. I think this week's is do damage to shredders. So what I would do is, obviously load into Salamantas. You can probably get the shredder one done and the fireball done in one go in Salamantas. because there's so many of them. Now, I would personally wait till later in the week to do this because everyone is going to be doing it, but that is a good way to get trials done, is just do it in one go. Tip number 9 is kind of for beginners, not really, it's kind of like mid to beginning of the game. Also, it's good for late game. I mean, I'm really late game and I haven't really done any of my quests, but you know, doing quests is a really good way to get pretty much anything. You know, shields, augments, materials, weapons, throwables, and even schematics, like really good schematics. I think the last mission you get like a hole cracker schematic, which I don't even know if, or schematic blueprint, whatever. But I don't even know if you can get that normally. You might be able to, but it might just be like super rare. But yes, do quests. They are a good way of getting, you know, free resources for your character to use maybe in your next match. Tip number 10 is collect keys. What I like to do is I like to go into a residential area. I like to loot up that whole entire area. Try to get as many keys as I can. You know, in daytime, you're probably going to get mostly green keys. Same with night. But there's that higher chance of blue, even purple key cards that you can get. What I like to do is I like to hoard them. And then one day, you know, when I have most of the day off, or I have the day off, I will go in and just do nothing but key rooms. And this is also good if you know that you need a key for a quest, like the patrol car key, right? That quest is one of the later quests, and it's one of the harder quests because if you lose that key while you're in the match, it doesn't spawn in the next match. So that means you have to completely find it by yourself. That's why I have 2 of these patrol car keys, is so that if I die that first time, you know, I'll have enough to where I can try it 2 more times. And eventually, if I don't get it, you know, you can still find it, but it's always good to have that. Alright, so here are some bonus tips. Don't hoard all of your stuff in your stash. I am pretty bad at that. I tend to use, you know, some good stuff if I'm going into like Stella Montis, but other than that, I really just use like free kits. And honestly, it's something I need to get better with. You know, it's just going to stay in there. I'm never going to be able to use it unless I actually do use it. Don't be gear fear, you know. Use your stuff. Because, I mean, you're not always going to have it. And the only way you do always have it is if it's in your stash and you're not using it and not having fun with it. So, yeah. Just don't hoard your stuff. The next bonus tip is, and this is the biggest tip I can give you if you're new to this extraction series, or if you're new to any games like this, is get used to losing. Get used to losing. The sooner you can do that, the more fun you will have with the game, the less mad you will get at the game. You just need to get used to losing. You are going to lose constantly. There are some days where I go in and I just suck ass at the game. Like, over and over and over and over and over again. And you know, you can't let that get you mad. Because at the end of the day, it's just a game, you know. You're always going to get that stuff back, maybe even better stuff. But just get used to losing. I promise you it will make a big difference. A big difference. If you guys did like this video, that is the end of the video. Please like and subscribe, you know, share to everyone you know, share to people who play Arc Raiders. I just want to say thank you for clicking onto this video. I know I haven't been uploading a lot, but that's going to change coming up. Look forward to new Arc Raider videos, guide videos. There's probably going to be a couple more coming this week. Just look forward to those. And I will see you guys in the next video.